How my boyfriend's entitled friend ruined our dinner and accused me of lying about my essay. I'm so done with my BF's entitled friend. I just need to get this off my chest. I, 22F, have been dating my M22 boyfriend for 5 years now. We've been living together in a small town, very close to where he grew up with his friend, 22F. His friend Sarah has always been very vocal about how much she loves him, how she knows him so well, how she has even seen him naked as kids, how she is like his sister, etc. etc. They only see each other about once a month. She has been our house about 3 times. Something important about me: I was S8 a few months before dating my now BF. This was something that impacted me and has ruined certain aspects of my life. The guy who did it is a well-known person around the area, which means that from time to time I run into him. This brings me so much anxiety, so much pain, and the only way to feel better is venting about it. Sarah was at my house one time. I started bawling about it and decided to trust her. Big mistake. I told her everything. She knew the guy actually tried to get with her before, and she acted so compassionate and kind in front of me. One day we were having some dinner as a group. It was my BF, Sarah, and other people I didn't know. Sarah asked my boyfriend what he was planning to do after uni. My boyfriend: I'm not sure yet. Me: why not a master's degree? Sarah: got up. Stop pressuring him. He's worked so hard all his life. Give him a goddamn break and let him decide what to do. She said it in such an aggressive tone. Mind you, I was just suggesting. I've never told my boyfriend he had to do something. He grabbed my hand and squeezed it, telling me it was alright and that he didn't think I was forcing him to do something. Then, Sarah asked what his future plans were for housing. I mentioned my family has a house in the southern part of the country, maybe a 5-hour drive, and that we were planning on moving there in the future. I kid you not, these were her exact words. Sarah: hell no. He isn't moving to the south. He's staying here. And he better not go farther away than, insert nearest city. I was a bit annoyed. Why was it when I recommended doing a master's I was forcing him to do something, yet she was prohibiting him from moving? Yet I was the controlling one? Anyways, Sarah then started talking about ex-boyfriends, and said she didn't mind if any of her friends got with her exes. I mentioned something to her like, I'd warn the girl first. I don't want anyone to suffer what I suffered. Sarah blew up. She was red in the face. These were her words. Sarah: how f***ing dare you throw yourself in the middle of a relationship? Are you that possessive that you can't let your ex be happy? You're not over your ex, and I can tell. You cried about him the other day. You're hurting BF by not telling him the truth. She was accusing me of all these things. And then the cherry on top. Sarah: BF hasn't been the same since you two are together. He's so quiet. He hasn't talked to me all day. You two keep showing affection in front of us all the effing time. I've seen him naked as a kid and I know him so well. You're no good for him. She was annoyed at us holding hands and hugging each other in front of her. I started crying over her tone and her accusations. I'm very sensitive. And then she said something that made me bawl even harder. Sarah: I'm so sure you lied about your essay. If it were actually true, you would have gone to the police. What did he do to you exactly? I blew up and told her in detail what he did to me in front of others. I was so embarrassed when I realized I told a bunch of strangers something so personal. Sarah: you're such a effing manipulator. Remember when I met you, you were crying over your weight? Sarah kept throwing things that made no sense. Anything she could, she was throwing it into my face. She has an ed, and she threw my own self-esteem issues into my face. I wasn't expecting my BF to say anything. Not only is he incredibly bad at confrontation due to years of abuse from his family, he's terrified of her. She has been like a sister, yeah, but is that big sister who bullied him as well. Anyways, we're moving to the south in a few months. Update: I'm so done with my BF's entitled friend. I shared my story about Sarah a few days ago. It was written a few days after the whole situation went down, and I was just looking for a place where I could vent my feelings. Thank you to those who reached out to offer support/advice. People on TikTok have decided to twist the truth and add things that are simply not true. So I just want to update so people don't get confused. 1. BF and Sarah have never slept together. They had only seen each other once a month. There isn't a point in the story I mentioned them sleeping together. I only mentioned the fact that their families were so close as kids, 2-year-olds, that Sarah and my BF had seen each other naked at that age. It has never been a sexual relationship. 2. BF cut her off without hesitation. Please don't come after him. My BF was quiet during the confrontation because he was abused as a child and confrontation basically makes him shut off. And Sarah was one of those who took advantage of his kind nature to force him to do things for her. I know from an outside perspective it seems like he's spineless and let me take all the abuse. He's aware of this and feels terrible. He, however, gathered enough strength to send her a pretty long message that night saying how what she did was unacceptable, how we were going to move, how she acts like a feminist yet shames an SA victim, and basically made me confess what happened that night to a bunch of strangers. I know confrontation and defending people might come easy to you, but it's incredibly difficult for him to confront others, especially when Sarah has been a bully to him his whole effing life. I don't blame him. He's got issues and we're working with them. The fact that was able to cut her off without a second thought makes me feel happy. 3. Sarah doesn't regret it. According to some friends we have in common, it was something she had on her chest for a long time, and she didn't want to stand by and let me manipulate and control his life. God forbid I give my own boyfriend suggestions or plan my future with him. She thinks my BF cutting her off is my doing, Nope. Sorry. All his choice. 4. Strangers reached out. There were a lot of people at the dinner party. This happened while we were out having dinner with Sarah's friends, who had to hear my very detailed explanation of what went on with the person who SA'd me. I deeply regret telling Sarah about my SA, especially in front of so many people. I made them so uncomfortable. But many of those strangers reached out to give me support. They have also cut Sarah out of their lives because she showed her true colors, making an SA victim relive trauma and accusing her of not being over him. I'm so happy that they didn't let that night ruin their image of me, and that I'm not a controlling freak like Sarah said. 5. What now? So, yeah. After the whole drama that night, we went home and I realized I can't effing live like this. I don't want to run into my abuser every so often, because it triggers me and I can't heal this way, even after 5 years. My BF can't heal having one of his so-called friends live literally a 10-minute walk from us. So, like the post says, we've decided to move earlier than expected. We're looking for a therapist to help us deal with our respective issues. Final update, I'm so done with my BF's entitled friend. I first came to Reddit in search of people who would support me during a difficult time, and while I have received much love and support, thank you for this. I have also had to read various mean comments and people doubting my story. I have also seen people have made TikToks about my situation. Various TikToks changed the title, changed various details of the story to make my BF look horrible, added in lies where they said Sarah and him slept together, again, not the case, cut off very important details and basically manipulated my whole story for clicks and views. I have had to read people tell me I have no self-respect for staying with my so, call my so a douchebag for having to deal with his own traumatic problems. So for now, I don't want to keep updating Reddit about Sarah because then I would have to mention my SA and yeah. Not really good for my mental health, but I do want to share some info to finally close this. 1. Sarah and her friend tried to contact me last night. She is blocked on our phones, so I received a message from her friend who I didn't know existed. I guess she realized my BF was actually being serious about going NC, and she realized she fucked up. The friend said that I should talk to my BF and tell him to change his mind, because it was something she said in the heat of the moment and that she was sorry, and that she wanted us to have a girls' day to talk about the situation. I of course blocked that number without even responding. People have mostly been on my side, and Sarah is going crazy over this fact. I guess she realized she showed her true colors and that she doesn't have any power over people anymore. I guess she realized the only thing she could do was apologize, but I don't think she really regrets it. Even if she did, she used my trauma as a weapon against me and I will never forgive anyone who does that. 2. I mentioned in my last post that people from the dinner party had reached out to me to defend me, but now I've been reached out by Sarah's ex-friends, not the ones from the party, to tell me that Sarah is not only trying to control my BF, but everyone she interacts with, and when she couldn't, well, Sarah would either give them ultimatums or just cut them off. Long story short, everything had to go her way, and she would get upset when people wouldn't bend over backward for her. In school, she bullied other people and then claimed she was being bullied because nobody wanted to be around her. Sarah has told me she was bullied, but not that she was a bully. She claimed in the past she was an empath, which was why she understood my pain. 3. The real reason why she blew up at me that night was because she saw my boyfriend is changing. She saw that it's an actual serious relationship, that he is making more decisions for himself, and she thought it was my doing. She didn't like the fact she couldn't spend more time with him and hated the fact we hugged and held hands while we were out in public. I guess Sarah's problem is one of control. From what other victims have told me, she seems to be the type who likes to claim they're an empath but also wants to control her friends' lives. It's sad, really. My BF has opened up more about his experiences with her and they're heartbreaking, and I just don't feel comfortable sharing more details about this. 4. Is Sarah in love with BF? We honestly don't think that's the case, but I'm aware I could be wrong. To be completely honest, I have questioned this in the past when I met her. But Sarah does have a long-time partner from my understanding. I've met him twice. Again, Sarah's problem is that she feels the need to control her friends. This ranges from deciding what we're going to have for dinner, to demanding we all go dressed a certain way for Halloween, to making life choices for others. If you ask me, I think she was projecting. She accused me of being controlling, threw my past dead into my face, when she literally has admitted she is one, also just random things that made no sense to even mention. So, yeah, I don't think I want to keep updating. I just want to continue living my life, plan my trip to the south of the country and take care of my pet.